the question we all really want to know, which is the better banner? Which one should you focus on? Which banner has the most value out of both Part 1 anniversary banners? What I won't do in this video is tell you which one to summon on, but what I will do is give you all the information that you need to know before you go ahead and begin your summons. I will say no subscriber challenge or push-up challenge in this video, but we are pushing out a ton of 8th year anniversary content. There's so many things to cover, and if you don't want to miss out on any of that, make sure to subscribe. Road to 60k for this anniversary, and if we hit, I'm thinking 70k, 75, maybe 65, we do face cam. I don't know, we'll have to see. Yeah, so keep that in mind. I just want to say thank you for all the support anyways. You are the reason why I am still making videos, so I just owe a lot of it to you. Thank you so much. Let's just move on with this video though, and of course hopefully you're having a great day. So the first thing I'm gonna say out of the gate is summon on like trust yourself the most. If you have to really understand what you personally care about the most, because I can tell you what the best banner is, but if you don't care for that unit, you don't care for the unit, and that's perfectly okay. I understand that Dokkan at the end of the day is a subjective enjoyment experience, meaning you care for what you care for. If animations are what get you going, and you think the animations for the GT boys are better and you like them more because of that, then have fun, right? Do what you have to do. If that's what you care about, that's what you care about. If you think the art is just better for the Z boys and Super Saiyan 3 is your favorite, that's what you care about, that's what you care about. If Majin Buu Saga is your favorite and that's what you care about, that's what you care about, right? Listen to yourself. Don't let anyone else tell you what you should summon on, what you shouldn't summon on. Both anniversary LRs are very, very strong. And at the end of the day, it's just going to, I want you to experience the game how you want to experience the game. Please just understand that, okay? That is the first thing we have to mention. Summon on what you intrinsically feel like summoning on. But there are some factors. There are many people who are on the fence and don't know what to go for, and that's what this video is really for, to help you kind of decide in case you are on the fence. Like personally, I'm only going for the Z boys first because they're just my favorite unit in the game. But again, many people just don't know, right? So let's go ahead and hop into the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to these units, which of course is the most obvious question, which is who is the better unit between the Z boys and the GT boys? And again, it's a very understandable question. I think you have to look at it in two different scales, right? Actually, three different scales: an offensive scale, a defensive scale, and then of course the team itself, like the team that they can build with their leader skill. Now offensively, I'll tell you right now, the GT boys are just a lot better. The fact that they greatly stack attack on 18 key and stack attack on their 12 key, it's just, when you put them in the second or third slot and they get that extra 100% attack plus all that stacking and all the super attacks they're doing, it becomes a case of them dishing out 13, 14, 15 mil what's it called, attack stats, of course with a few dupes in them, right? Like if you have them 55%, they're not going to be the greatest units of all time, but a lot better. Like these units at 55% are still going to be really, really solid. But overall, the GT boys are a lot better offensively because the Z boys are more tailored defensively because they're greatly stacking defense on their 18 key and stacking defense just regularly on their 12 key. They're raising attack, but only for one turn. And they're literally doing the opposite here with the GT boys. They're greatly raising defense, but only for one turn, but they're stacking infinitely when it comes to their attack. So attack power wise, the GT boys are definitely, over, like they have the edge over the Z boys. And defensively speaking, it's a very interesting conversation because I believe, because I've used these characters, right? I have a good understanding of how these characters work. When it comes to the Z boys, they are better defensively, but I would say they're only better like before, how do I explain it? Before they attack. Obviously, turn 20 with like 3 million defense, you're just not getting touched by anything in the game. But I would say for like the first 15, 16 turns of a fight, the Z Boys are better defensively before they themselves attack. The reason why I say that is because not anything that they're doing, but the GT Boys are building up damage reduction with every single attack that they perform. So, and literally on any given turn, they're at, you know, what is it, like 300k defense-ish, 50% damage reduction, and then they're greatly raising defense for one turn, and then raising defense another 2-3 times with all the additionals in their kit. Like, they're at a point where they're getting, you know, over 500, 600k defense, maybe support on the rotation with 50% damage reduction. It's just very, very, very strong. It's hard to kill this unit. On top of that, their active skill, or, you know, their standby, is so OP because you pop the standby, and it's literally just a revive whenever you want to revive. And they're doing damage too, and they're supporting like crazy. Like, this unit is absolutely insane with what they're doing, right? And again, the Z Boys, in their own right, they are disgustingly OP in this standby mode as well. The defense, the guarding, the damage reduction per orb, it's just actually disgusting what they're doing. But again, remember, that with the damage reduction is just more potent than just blank defense, right? Like 600k defense and 50% damage reduction is better than like 800, 900k defense, right? But again, there is a point in a really, really long fight where the Z Boys defense, they're just gonna hit numbers that, you know, are just, you can't beat. But again, that's really deep into a fight where not many fights are actually going to last to, which makes the GT Boys better offensively and of course defensively, but the Z Boys are just like right there. Again, they're my favorite character in the game, which is why I'm summoning on them first, but they are definitely no slouch. The 50% crit they build up, all the attacks they're doing a lot of damage, and it's just, again, it's just a super fun unit in my opinion to work with. But I will say, both offensively and defensively, the GT Boys take the cake. The Z Boys can definitely they'll look better, but damage reduction is just too strong, and they're really not that far behind anyways. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Again, there's really no wrong or right for who you want to summon on, but the GT Boys, they just built them a lot better for whatever reason. It's understandable, right? But, you know, it is what it is, okay? Now, that's offensive and defensive based. Let's take a look at the teams that they actually lead. And it's a very similar team. Power of Wishes, Battle of Fate, and we have Power of Wishes, Final Trump Card, Connected Hope, Majin Buu Saga, and then Shadow Dragon Saga or Final Trump Card. So it's just going to be a small variation. And honestly, when you first look at it, I think that the team for the GT Boys looks better, but I think you can make a case for the Majin Buu Saga team. I mean, dude, like, I think there's value in having the 3-year anniversary LRs, the Easy 8 LRs. I think there's value in Tech Ultimate Gohan. There's value in Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, who's literally getting an Easy A. And, you know, Buu as well. I mean, yeah, this Buu is getting an Easy A, but I'm talking about Super Vegeta also getting, like, 3 of the anniversary Easy A. Well, 3 of the characters getting Easy A's in the anniversary are literally on this team, right? So, I mean, it's kind of like a toss-up, right? Because you have the Super Saiyan 4s in here, which make a great, you know, like, the what's it called? What's his face, man? The Kai Goku is also on this 200%. And keep in mind, this isn't like their entire team. This isn't like the entirety of Power of Wishes, for example, right? This is just the 200% that they have, and every character being inflicted with the 200%. But if you just wanted to run this team for the Battle of Fate category themselves, then again, you have definitely a lot of other options here, right? Same thing with the GT Boys. Final Trump Card itself is definitely a big category, so you can just run this team by itself if you really wanted to. There's just a ton of options either way. But the 200%, I mean, if you wanted to say, you know, that the 200% for the GT Boys is better, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to say the 200% for the Majin Buu Saga team is better, I'm not really going to argue with you. I think they're both good, and they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. So they're not crazy teams by any means. You do have the GOAT Piccolo here as well, right? So they're not great by any means, but, you know, it's definitely an option to consider. Keep in mind also that this team does have the Go Bros, which are getting their EZA for global fairly soon. So keep that in mind. And when STR Vegito gets his ZZA, it's going to be really hype, where this category doesn't have STR Vegito, doesn't have Piccolo, doesn't have the Go Bros. So there's more LRs here, but I think just like the quality of units on this team can definitely exceed it. But you're probably going to have key issues with certain units here, and a lot of units are key hungry as well. So again, there's options, pros and cons. I think it's kind of like an even playing field. So in terms of just best character overall, I definitely would give it to the GT boys, right? That's just in terms of which character is better. Which banner themselves is just simply better. I mean, dude, this is the banner for the GT duo here, and this is the banner for the Z duo. I'm gonna tell you right now, there is no such thing as just outright better banner, in the sense that one banner, no matter what, will always be better than another. One thing that's going to determine the value of a banner is who you already have in your account. Because if you have every character on this list right now for the GT banner, but you have no character on this banner for the Z duo, then it's like this banner has infinitely more value for you. Because if you summon and you don't pull these two units, at least you're getting a lot of new and very powerful, by the way, really strong new characters. And new characters, like I mentioned in a previous video, are always more important and always more valuable than just dupes of characters. And yes, I'm not saying dupes of characters are bad, but dupes of characters are always going to power up your characters, right? But they're not as valuable. They're valuable, but not as valuable as completely new Dokkan Festival LRs and TURs in your box. So one thing you really have to understand is which banner do you have less featured, which banner has more new characters for you to potentially pull. That's the question, right? That's one thing you really have to understand. But besides that, again, it's really just a toss-up. Like Gamma 1, sure, better than Gamma 2. Okay. STR Cooler, I mean, sure, definitely better than the Goku and Vegeta here, right? Frieza and Namek Goku, I don't know if you want to argue who's better. I mean, have fun with that. I guess you could say the gods are better than the GT duo. UI Goku is better than Vegeta here. I mean, Vegito and Gogeta, people still talk about these units to this day. Vegito is better than this guy. Goku is better than, Vegeta here. So that's just like a 1-by-1 comparison. But remember that the GT unit is just overall a better unit, right? So it's definitely, it's a little bit of back and forth. It seems like the higher value characters, or the characters that are better than the other characters, will be this banner here. But again, it's really dependent on what you have already in your account and which banner is going to offer you more more new things, okay? So just keep that in mind. I also want to quickly talk about these characters here. These two bozos of units. I'm not going to call them really bad. They're not bad, all right? They're definitely useful. It's just they could have been better. This could have been a nice GT support, 4 key and 34% of stats to GT bosses, and this could have been a really nice support for Majin Buu Saga. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. And what's really annoying here is that when you have a character that has multiple super attacks and they get an additional, what ends up happening is they're not going to, the additional attack that has the least amount of key will be the one to get the additional. So for example, this unit stacks defense on their 12 key and stacks attack on their 11 key. So what happens is if they get their 12 key and they get an additional, they're not stacking their defense again. They're going to be getting an offensive stack, which is kind of annoying, right? Because defensive stacks is what you really want to aim for, which with characters like this that aren't going to be super OP defensively anyways. So, it's unfortunate. And another thing is that he's made in a way where it's like he launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when key is 11 or below. So you have to stack your attack to then get a chance of launching additional. Like, I don't like that. Like, I don't know. It should have. I don't know. Again, kind of wonky design. He's not a bad. It's not a bad character, right? It's a cool new unit. It's gonna definitely help out in certain instances, but it's just not the they're a rainbow orb changer. It's a very valuable thing to have. They just could have been better. And then same thing with this unit here. a double orb changer is very, very strong, okay? Double orb changers are very, very strong. I believe this is the second unit in the game to be a double orb changer. I could be wrong. I know Physical Weirus is a orb changer. I don't think there is another orb changer, a double orb changer in the game. I could be wrong though. I'm probably wrong. By double orb changer, I don't mean like one orb and then like a rainbow orb. I mean like two types of orbs into another type of orb, not including rainbow. So let me know. I'm probably wrong about that. Well, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, still a very strong ability. And then the issue is that they need those orbs that they actually, you know, I guess create to really be super effective. So like if they were stacking attack and defense, it would be really good actually. But 134% of stats with these stats are just not. I mean, this is not bad stats. Definitely, like it's high defense for a banner unit. I think. What is a defense for you? 10k. Yeah, I think that's pretty good defenses for a banner unit, honestly. But even then, it's 134% of stats, an extra 134% of defense with 3 or more key spheres. I actually love that because it's easier to get 3 than 4 key spheres sometimes. But double orb changer, you're probably going to be okay most of the time, right? But then extra attack buff there. Honestly, this should have been defense right here. This should 100% be defense. And then this 7 key sphere should have been yeah, guaranteed additional, and then maybe like 34% damage reduction. That's what this should have been, right? Defense here, damage reduction, and then guaranteed crit when all allies on the team are GT bosses or Shadow Dragon Saga. Like that's how you make this unit just good. I just, in my opinion, I don't know, because you would have had 34% damage reduction, 2 instances of 134% to defense, and then guaranteed crit with 2 super attacks. That's a pretty good character, right? So anyways, again, is what it is. Could have been a lot better, but you know, I'm not gonna say one's better than the other. I mean, it's whatever you want to use at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think those are the banners here. In terms of which banner is better, go for the banner that you have the least amount of characters on, and that is how you maximize value in Dokkan. Going for the banners that you just don't have many characters that are featured, especially high ticket, like high value banners like this one, right? Keep that in mind. And then in terms of the units themselves, in terms of just like the category teams, it's hard to really say who's better. There's pros and cons for each. Banner units, pros and cons for each. And then the units themselves, that's, you know, the GT unit is better, but you know, it just depends on what you like the most. I'm going for this character first because I like them the most. So hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I don't believe I missed out on anything. I mean, I will say this too. When you're summoning on this banner, keep in mind that it is a buy 3, get 1 free. And every stone multi you do, you're getting tickets. So not these rainbow tickets, sorry, but like the you know, the Dokkan Festival A or B tickets where you can actually perform, not free, but ticket multis on this banner, right? 10 tickets gives you a multi. So keep in mind that when you're summoning, you want to essentially stick to one banner, because if you don't, you're going to be not playing yourself. But just to give you a quick example, right? Buy 3, get 1 free means you spend 3 multis, you buy 3 multis, which is 150 dragon stones, and then you get a free multi. Every 50 stone multi gives you 3 tickets. So what you do is, if you do a full rotation on the Z boys, you're going to have 9 tickets, and you only need to do 1 more to get that 10th ticket to get your extra multi on the Z boys ticket version of their banner. But if you do 3 multis here and then don't get anything and say, you know what, F it, let me just go to the other banner now, what ends up happening is that you just built up 9 tickets, and it's like you might as well go in again to get that last ticket multi. It's a very valuable thing. But if you keep splitting up your stones, like, you know, a few stones here, a few stones there, it's going to be hard for you to really accumulate those extra tickets that you have, which just makes it harder, I think, to pull the unit, or harder to really exercise all the summons that you can do. So my advice would be, try to plan it right now. Try to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to spend this amount of stones. If I don't get the character, I'll spend my tickets and I'll move on to the next one, right? And then I'll move on to the next unit here, or I'm going to continue going until this banner till I pull the unit, then I'll move on to this one. Like, try to have some type of plan, because if the banner drops, you're just so excited, you just start spamming summons here and there. Like, if you only have 100 stones to your name, Let's say only 100 stones. Only 100 stones. It's tough because if you buy 2 multis, now you're 1 multi away from a complete freebie, right? But a lot of players will do is they'll do 1 multi on one banner and 1 multi on another one, which is essentially giving you a shot at both new units, which is very unlikely for you to do that anyways. But now you're 2 multis away from each banner to get a freebie. So it's like, it's, you know, you got to really, you have to really think about how you want to spend your stones. Because when it comes to how much value they provide, when you start splitting up your stones, it makes it more tough to get all, like, the full rewards of each banner. So try to think about who you want to go into, or which banner you want to summon on first before you actually do it, because I'm telling you, it is going to matter. And when you only have 1 multi left for the freebie, and you know you did a multi on a different banner, you're going to be upset at yourself, and let's just try to avoid that. All right, so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. A lot to unpack here, but I will see you in the next one. Take care and peace.